What is good, Gotcha Gang? Kawaii50 back with another fake Grand Order video, here to talk about the Queen of the Shadow Realm herself, Scathach. Why are we talking about Scathach? Well, because it was requested by somebody on Twitter. And, well, I'm nothing without you guys, so if somebody wants me to do something like that, I'm gonna do my best to make it happen. So, yes, here she is, Scathach. That is how her name's pronounced. If you have trouble remembering it, just maybe think of some gigantic bird of prey that likes to play a lot of real big fish. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and it helped you out. Alright, let's get started. So our favorite Shisho is rocking a quick Arts Buster deck and a quick type Noble Phantasm. When we go and dig into her stats a little bit, her 14,825 HP is really on the high end in this game, and honestly, the same can be said of her attack, maxing at 11,375. Her NP per hit is pretty solid at a 0.71%, and her star absorption is average for the Lancer class as well. Honestly, even just looking at Scathach's stats and deck setup in a post-Scotty world, she's looking pretty good. Scathach's first skill is the Wisdom of Scathach, rank A+. This gives her evade for 1 turn and also gives her an 80% chance to do the 2 following things. Increase her critical strength by 30 to 50% and increase her star absorption by 300 to 500%. Now, this is Scathach's main defensive skill, and I would definitely recommend maxing this last. Mainly for 2 reasons. 1, the evade doesn't get better when you sink more points into the skill, and 2, the crit strength and star absorption boosts are percentage based. Now, when we talk about her next skill, the upgraded version, that's going to get addressed in the future, but if you're pulling her around the time this video comes out, then this is the best way to efficiently level your Scathach skills. The upgraded version of Scathach's second skill probably isn't arriving on NA until September of 2022, but it still bears mentioning because it is a very important buff for her kit. Primordial Rune Scathach's upgraded version does still have the base effect, increase quick card effectiveness for an ally by 30 to 50% for 1 turn. But in addition to that, it also increases an ally's buff rate by 10 to 20% for 3 turns, and increases their NP gauge by 20% as well. Obviously, this is very good when you use it on Scathach herself, because it's going to ensure those extra effects of Wisdom of Scathach are going to have a 100% chance of activating, and that is going to definitely increase her overall DPS. Go ahead and max this skill first, mainly because it's quick card effectiveness, that is her main card type, and you might have a Scotty from your friends list that you are using. Scathach's final skill makes her very valuable in challenge quests, and that is Godslayer rank B. This gives her a 50 to 100% damage boost for 1 turn against divine as well as undead enemies. This is fairly situational, I will admit, but when it comes to divine, there's actually quite a few enemies in FGO that do have the divine trait. And who knows, maybe you're fighting a ghost sometime and that has the undead trait. You can take advantage with this as well. Go ahead and max this second, because when you need it, you are going to miss it if you don't have it maxed out. And if you have it maxed out, well, I'm sure you can go digging on YouTube for a bunch of insane clears with Shisho, with her doing damage in the 7 digits. Scathach's upgraded Noble Phantasm is Gay Bulk Alternative. This deals between 1600 to 2400% damage to a single enemy. So on the upgrade, it basically turns Scathach into an NP2 version of herself. This also inflicts stun on a single enemy for 1 turn, which has saved my bacon more often than not, and also has a medium chance to inflict death to a single enemy, a 60 to 100% chance depending on the overcharge. You're not really going to see this popping with servants very often, and I'll be surprised if you even see it pop with a boss either. But if this happens, that is just gravy. More often than not, what you are going to enjoy from this Noble Phantasm is the fact that it deals an absurd amount of damage, gains the benefits from the divine and undead bonus traits that she gets from her 3rd skill, and also gains bonuses from that quick buff as well. There's a lot you can stack on top of this Noble Phantasm to make it really hit hard. So now the question is, how do we build Scathach? What are the best craft essences for her? What do we want to focus on when building her? As far as particular stats go, I tend to like quick card effectiveness, critical strength, especially if you've got her second skill's upgrade and her first skill maxed out, or NP damage. NP damage especially comes in effective when you are facing challenge quests with her. To start, I would like to recommend Midsummer Moment. This offers quick card effectiveness, critical strength, and generates some critical stars every single turn. It might not be much, but if you're using her with a Scotty, well, it's gonna add up quickly, and you're gonna be able to crit with Scathach because you might likely have some crit star overflow. Holy Knight Sign is also an excellent pick on her. This grants her quick card effectiveness and critical strength as well. And 3 Anglers grants quick card effectiveness, NP strength, and critical strength. It might even be the best craft essence for her, in my opinion. Also, when it comes to challenge quests, something I know a lot of people forget about, but I particularly want to mention, if you know you're facing an enemy that has a lot of evades or a lot of invincibles, I've had a lot of success on challenge quests by giving Scathach Decapitating Bunny 2018. You might not have this. I know it came out very, very early in the game's life cycle, but it grants quick card effectiveness as well as a permanent ignore invincible buff. This is huge, especially when it comes to some of the more tanky bosses. So if you forgot that this is in your second archive and you've got a difficult challenge quest coming up where Scathach will be useful, might be time to dig it out. As far as allies go from Shisho, well, Scathach Scotty. Do I need to say more? No. Okay, let's move on to something that is a little less obvious. Starting with Bart Roberts is a fantastic freebie pick to pair with Scathach for when he comes out. He grants her an NP strength boost, an attack boost. He can decrease his own critical star gather rate while increasing his allies' critical strength, and he can generate some critical stars, all things Scathach will thank him for. Assassin of the Nightless City, or I'm just going to say Wu Zhe Shan because we all know who she is. She's got a lot of tricks in her toolbox that are going to help Scathach as well. An attack boost, a quick card effectiveness boost. She's able to heal herself, so she's going to be able to stick around longer to provide that support. And her upgraded defense down skill is going to nullify enemy buffs, give them a burn, as well as decrease their defense like it already did. Nightingale Santa is an excellent freebie option as well, offering attack, critical strength, a guts, and NP strength on top of her general HP healing, which, is it even Nightingale if she doesn't have any sort of healing? No, it ain't. And finally, Osakabe Hime. Osakabe Hime has a couple of buffs that are going to be showing up for her that are going to make her a very valuable ally for Scathach. Not only does she have the potential to generate stars just by nature of her assassin class, but she also has the ability on overcharge to increase Scathach's quick card and buster card effectiveness, and those are her 2 primary card types. She's got healing, she's got max HP boost, which max HP boost is basically healing. That's pretty much why I said that. And she's got a very powerful defensive skill on herself, where she can not only increase her own defenses, but while increasing her own defenses, she can increase all of her allies' critical damage. So Scathach will definitely be able to get the crits in. When it came to thinking about Scathach's command codes, I thought about the situations I ended up using her the most, and that was when I was fighting a divine or undead enemy, either in a particularly difficult story mission or a challenge quest. So when building command codes, let's go ahead and build her around that. Sure, we'll get this out of the way with her arts card, Immature Illusionary Command Seal, if you've got it, so you can draw critical stars to that arts card so you can use it to generate some extra noble phantasm. But beyond that, let's focus on dealing damage against divine and undead enemies. And let's chuck these on her quick cards because those are what we're mainly going to be using for damage. Intangible Case is a 4-star command code that increases damage against undead enemies by 15%. Chains of Heaven is a 5-star command code that increases damage against divine enemies by 20%. So, no matter what you're fighting, if you've got those command codes spread out a bit, Scathach is going to be able to deal her extra damage even when her skill is not up. For Scathach's buster cards, keeping challenge quests and boss fights in mind, I quite like the idea of debuff removal on that. You're not always going to have a servant that's going to have the ability to cleanse debuffs, and sometimes your mystic code is going to be on cooldown. So even just being able to chip away at the myriad of debuffs that affect Scathach is going to overall help with her longevity in the long run. So I like to recommend something like White Vessel's Command Seal, This just removes one debuff when attacking using the engraved card. You can chuck this on a buster card and make sure you're able to whittle away those detrimental effects. Overall, gang, Scathach is an oddity in FGO because she has remained consistently powerful since her release. Even when Quick wasn't the new kid on the block, Scathach was still a powerful figure that people would select to clear challenge quests, and they would do a very, very good job with it just because of how powerful her own kit can be. She does have some issues with the unfortunate percent chance of the bonus effects on her evade, but she at least still gets the evade, so those aren't as horrible as they could be. Plus, with an impending buff that is going to take that detriment away, Scathach is just going to remain an even stronger option in FGO for years and years to come. If you have pulled Shisho, I wouldn't be surprised if you made her your primary Lancer, grailed her to 100, max gold foed her, whatever you needed to do. And even if we're talking about the down and dirty and awful word of meta, well, even doing it for that reason, you're fine as well. Both reasons are valid and both reasons are a good idea. Scathach is just very, very good. If I want to know your thoughts on Scathach, so go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. Other allies, other craft essences, other command codes. If you pulled her on a recent banner, go ahead and let us know down below as well so we can revel in your accomplishment together. If you want to talk about FGO, my Discord is always open, and if you think I'm doing a good job, I have a Patreon as well down in the description below. This is Kawaii50, hoping you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next video.